Today on What Went Wrong, the biggest, steamiest pile of bullshit that you'll experience on set. Hi, I'm Brett Mauser, and I made over 40 feature films, and I've worked with a lot of people on those films. Over the years, I built up a loyalty to those people. I learned to trust, not trust. Having to deal with when you're making film, you put a lot of faith in people. I've learned over the years, don't trust anyone. And it's not an issue of whether they're a trustworthy person. It's about whether they're a reliable person. So it has nothing to do with, oh yeah, I just can't trust that person. Right. It's like, okay, I just can't trust that person.
Yeah.
And it's almost you feel sorry for them in a way. Now this can range from everywhere from them talking shit behind your back to just not being able to get stuff done, not being able to do what needs to be done, and that comes down to an incompetence type thing. It's like, well, can this person complete things on time, or are they actually going to go out there? Or if you say, hey, I've got this task that needs to be done in 2 months, and a month later you're like, hey, how's that thing going? Well, I haven't even actually started it yet, but I'm getting to it. I see that all the time in my classes, and my students see that all the time in their classes. They will start a movie and they'll assign tasks. Oh, this person's going to edit. This person's going to do special effects. This person's going to do the audio. And they themselves are the EP. They're the executive producer. They're the ones that have, it's their project. It's their grade.
Right.
And then they hand these tasks out, and then 2 weeks before the project is due, they check in on them. Hey, how's the editing going? Oh, I've been busy. I've had other things.
Yikes.
And it's always the same story, whether it's out here in the real world or in the classroom. Oh, I just haven't gotten to it. Oh, things just really happen. There was one time where it was out of 20 people, 15 people had a relative die that weekend.
Holy crap.
And it's like, holy what the happened?
Plane crash or something?
And it's like, really? And you get one person that's, oh man, I'm sorry, I've got to deal with death in the family, blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's too bad. I'm sorry, my sympathies, blah, blah, blah. And then it just starts coming in. It's like, all these people are dying? Okay, really? And it becomes a slap in your face. Like,
yeah.
Really? This is what you're gonna do.
You know what you do? You should make a movie about that. So seriously, it's like guy's gonna have a thing, and everyone starts dying. Oh, my aunt died, my uncle died, my so and so died, and then they actually start dying.
That's a good one.
Because Bob, it's like, hey, how'd you, oh, that's terrible.
That's actually not a bad movie idea.
Call it RSVP.
That's a good one.
I'm the idea guy.
So this is a tough life lesson to learn as well as a film lesson, because it's not just about film.
No,
that's something I always say.
Yeah.
I tell my students, don't trust people, because when it comes down to it, especially like in my class, when it's their senior project and they have. It's their project. They're the ones getting graded. They're the ones that are getting the grade.
Right.
These other people have no skin in the game.
Right.
They've got their own project to worry about, or they're helping other people's, or that one editor has a crush on this one girl and she wants his help. So who do you think's getting the preferential treatment on that? Because he's not getting paid. And then and to even say that because when we started when we shifted from deferments to payments, we thought everything was going to change. No, it's still lackluster. Oh, I couldn't make it this weekend. I'm sorry, I got a birthday party to go to. It's like, dude, I'm paying you. Or people that have to leave my set early so they can run up to Austin and be in a film that they're not getting paid for. It's like, oh. So the best analogy I can come up with is it's like when you're in a relationship and the girl asks you, or if you're a girl or guy. No, I'm going to stick with just
keep it simple. Let's keep it simple.
So,
Stick with what we know.
Yeah. So if you're in a relationship and the girl wants to go out and partying with her girlfriends at the nightclub or something, and you say no or whatever, no, I'm not having any of that, and they say, well, don't you trust me? Well, no. And then they get all butthurt, and it's like, look, nothing personal. I just don't trust anybody.
Right.
That's the best way to go. That way you can't be a misogynist, you can't be a sexist, just don't trust anybody. That's the safest way to go.
Not that chicks aren't trustworthy. It's just none of you assholes are.
It's just the human race. And I mean, if you really want to ask yourself, look inward and say, have you ever lied to anybody? Have you ever said you were sick when you weren't? Have you ever let anybody down? If you have, which is going to be 100% of us,
right?
Understand you can't put absolute 100% faith into anybody.
Right.
Because sometimes things may happen that are out of their control that are going to force them to let you down.
Right.
So what do? Back up. Have a backup.
Mm-hmm. We talked about this before. It's like the backup plan for the backup plan for the backup plan. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the most important thing is because throughout the years, I built up what I thought was a loyalty.
Right.
It was like I mean, we're talking about oh, it's a family. Oh, we were loyal. Some people, whether it's some people are just idiots and and don't have the same drive as you,
right,
or whether people really are just that vindictive. Doesn't matter. People are going to let you down.
Yeah.
And you have to make a plan and be prepared for that. And so that when it does happen, and you know that it's probably going to happen, then you're not as crushed and not as hurt as when it does.
Right.
If you're in a relationship with a girl that goes to the clubs and the bars with her girlfriends and only these girls nights out, and you tell yourself, okay, she's going to be wanting to do this, and you know exactly what's going on out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know that, so that when you find out, like, yeah, I knew it. Okay, move on.
Yeah.
But if you put your trust and your soul and your faith into that, and then you find out, oh, she was screwing around, then that's what causes you to be crushed
Right.
and just devastated.
Right. If you have someone who is enthusiastic and helpful and nice and whatever else, but for some reason they have a crazy life, maybe they have a kid who's sick, or maybe they're taking care of their mom or something else. So it's not that they're stupid or malicious or not dependable as a human being, but you need them to be here at this time for this period of time. And because they have this going on or that going on or that going on, they can't do it. Well, I can't use you. I can't have you on my set. Yeah, I really appreciate you being here, and yes, we're good friends, and yes, you're doing a lot. You're a fantastic human being. Your halo is waiting in heaven, okay? But I need you here at this time for this long, and if you can't do that, I can't, okay, another thing, like in my life, if I couldn't be where I was supposed to be with what I was supposed to be when I'm supposed to be there, when the plane's supposed to take off, the plane's supposed to take off.
Yeah.
And people get really upset when the planes don't take off, right? Now, I don't fly people anymore because you're stupid. And as I'm flying, flying different things. So the situation's a little bit different. But still, I'm supposed to have this airplane at this time, or at this place at this time, with whatever I'm supposed to have in the back of it. And the fact that I'm a good guy or a good person or we're really helpful, it doesn't matter. No one cares in the world of business. Now, when you start talking about filmmakers who are going to be doing this as a job, everything changes, because we go from the ethereal concepts of artistry and message and making your vision come true, and all that's wonderful and beautiful. But then you tell them it has to be here Tuesday, 6:00. You may have the most beautiful, the best, the whatever else it is. If it's not here Tuesday at 6:00, you're not getting your grade. And the reason that is because when the studio says, I need it here at this time for this amount of money, and it needs to make this much money, and it doesn't, guess who's not getting a job next time?
That leads into what I wanted to say about the full-time job versus what you're doing. If you're an independent filmmaker and you've got no money, and you look at somebody who's really reliable at work, has been in the same job for 20 years, is truly devoted to that, and then you're surprised when they can't turn up, or they're not able to make it. You have to understand that this may be your dream. This may be your hope and the biggest thing you've ever done in your life. This is the most important thing to you. It's not to them.
Right.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That person, the reason that gets done, if people didn't get paid, or you had the universal basic income or whatever, then people aren't going to give a. The reason people meet deadlines at their job, the reason that they are such good employees, is because they know that if they don't, they're going to get fired, and they're going to lose their house, they're going to lose their car, they're not going to eat. So that's their priority. And the only reason that they are so good at their day job in that sense is because they have to be.
Right.
And if for 2 days in a row they're just having a tough time getting out of bed, for that $50,000 a year salary, $100,000 a year salary, whatever's paying their mortgage, is getting them out of bed and going, no, I can't sleep in for another 15 minutes. I got to get to work. I got to do it. Now contrast that to your little independent film, and they wake up after having a hangover, and they're like, ugh, well, if I don't show up, it's just this punk's movie. It's just this little independent film. It's not going to impact me any.
Right.
I'm still going to be able to pay my mortgage. So there's not that
Incentive.
motivation or incentive to shake it off, crawl to the shower, get ready, and be on set on time.
Right.
You're just not as important as everything else in their life.
Which makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I'm not faulting them. And I've done that. I've had to cancel shoots because my day job needed me on a Saturday. That something happened on Friday. Oh, we need you to come in on Sunday, but I'm shooting Saturday. I'm sorry, I got to cancel that shoot because I need my day job to be able to pay my mortgage, pay a car payment, whatever.
You have certain people to whom you are loyal but are not terribly useful. You have certain people who are very useful but not dependable or loyal. And so you have this corral of individuals who you have to, whom you have to deal with or whom you have to work in order to make an independent film. Okay. I have certain usefulness in so much as we talked about the costuming or weapons or that I can help. Mm-hmm. So I'm useful in that manner. I can also sit around with you. We can talk scripts and other things, and we can throw things back and forth, and I'm useful in that manner. And so in that case, I'm an individual whom you can depend on to do certain things, but whom you cannot depend on to do other things. And you as a filmmaker needed to decipher and figure out whom those people are. Because you may have some guys over here, he knows the people and he does this and blah, 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 but he's kind of scatterbrained, smokes a little too much dope, and you're not really sure where he's going to be. And you have this girl, and she's enthusiastic, and she's ready to do stuff, and she'll be where you need to be, but she has no idea what she's doing. And so then you have this person over here who's been in a bunch of films and does a bunch of stuff, and so they've got some good acting chops, but you're an independent filmmaker, and you're not really in her wheelhouse, and so maybe she'll be there, and maybe she won't. How dependable is she as an actress in your movie? And so you have these people. This bizarre conglomeration.
Zoo.
This zoo is a good word for it. This zoo of useless tards that you have lying in there. And you have to figure out what to do with them and where you go. And so that is something you as a filmmaker have to figure out. Is loyalty, trust, whatever else. But you're absolutely right about speaking the trust in particular. Is you really can't trust them. The reasons are different. You can't trust me to be a producer because I would have no idea what I'm doing. I'm not from the area. I wouldn't be useful, and I say too much. So it's not good to have. But as for if you want to talk scripts or if you need help with costuming, I'm the one to go to. So put me over here. This girl, enthusiasm, no knowledge. Well, we need to figure out something, but she's got something she can do. And then as she learns, of course, she can develop a kind of loyalty and blah. You have a lot of very loyal people. I will say that. People who are loyal to you are almost kind of creepy loyalty to you. Like Jim Jones loyal. It's kind of freaky at times. Just saying. But so yeah, you as a filmmaker need to figure out these people and figure out where they go, and that's hard.
Kind of building on what you said, you shouldn't be insulted if someone doesn't trust you.
Right.
It's like, people get so offended by, how can you not trust me? Well, the fact that you're that worried about whether I trust you or not is making me have problems.
The fact that you're asking me why can I trust you is why I can't trust you.
Yeah.
Sit down.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
From my point, it's like, I don't care if somebody trusts me or not. You tell me to do something, I'm going to do my best to do that.
Right.
That's all that matters, because then I can expect either A, they'll build up that trust, or I just want them to know that I'm reliable. I don't care about trust.
Right.
I want them to go, who's reliable?
Right.
Brett, do you trust him? I don't know. Maybe
not.
Maybe a chimpanzee one. I don't know.
And if that affects your trust, then that's a problem. If you the chimpanzee, I'd be like, yeah, chimpanzees, but he does what he's supposed to do when he's supposed to do there. I was like, all right, we'll keep him away from the monkeys. Everything will be fine.
This concern of whether you trust me or not,
it's useless.
It's sort of and loyalty, it's good to have, but it can be broken.
Right.
That's why
we're not going to combat together.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes it feels like
there are times. Trust is one of those things you build with a lot of. That's why in the military, this is one of the things I was describing to someone the other day. Why life is so hard. I went to Texas A&M and I was in the Corps Cadets, and they just used to beat the out of us, all the time. And people ask me, why would they do that? It's because a shared misery builds trust between people. Because you and I and this guy and that guy and this person and that whatever else, we went through this time of sucking shit together. And it builds a kind of motivation and trust between individuals, okay? You don't need that to make a film. We're not going to Mogadishu. It's fine. What you need to do is get the job done. Now, whether or not I trust this person or trust that person is immaterial. Can they do the job?
Yeah.
If this film crew is going to put on armor vests and we're going to journey into Iraq somewhere, maybe. Are we going to do that, Brett?
No.
Then it's really not that big of a deal to me, Do I trust you? Or is this, well, can I trust you? Probably not. You probably shouldn't. Can I be there on time? Yeah. Can I do the job you want me to do? Probably. Do you need to know, do you need to trust me? I wouldn't. But I will do what I'm supposed to do when I'm supposed to do it, because that is what you have me here to do. And those are the people you need to figure out, is the people who are going to be there, because you need those individuals who believe in the project. I mean, whatever, not the project, but your project, who believe in it, who want to be a part of it for whatever reason. For me, it's loyalty to you. For someone, it may be because this may be a stepping stone to something else. For someone, it could be because they want to learn and they hear you're pretty knowledgeable, which you are. For some people, it may be because they got to do on a Saturday and they want to come do something. And so you have to decipher who's going to be whatever they're going to be and why. Do you need to trust them? No. Do they need to do what they're supposed to do? Yes. So loyalty is important, not necessary. Trust, not really that important or that necessary. What is competence important? Absolutely, depending on what you want them to do.
Now, when you trust somebody, you consciously trust somebody, you're setting yourself up or giving your excuse to be a victim. Mm-hmm. Because what happens when you trust somebody, you give them a job or what have you, and then they fail you or they let you down, right. Then you allow yourself to be that victim. I was taken advantage of. Right. Oh, I trusted them. They, poor me. And that's something that I've had to come to recently about my life and my victimhood.
Right.
Is, and maybe this is taking it too far, but I don't think so. And
why do we worry about going too far?
Yeah, and if people disagree with me, them. I don't care. I'm right in my world, so come on. But I can now look at everything bad that has happened in my life, and say, it's my fault.
Yeah.
And whether it's because I trusted the wrong person, my fault. Shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
You know, even going down to, well, did I get mugged in that alley? Well, shouldn't have been walking down the alley. Shouldn't have been walking down that dark alley.
Right.
I had an argument with a student. You know, she's like, oh, you know, I walk down dark alleys all the time. I'm like, well, you're stupid.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, do I feel safe? I said, you're stupid. I wouldn't walk down a dark alley.
Right.
Why the hell are you? It's stupid. It's just plain stupid.
We want to play the odds. People get mugged in dark alleys a lot more than not in dark alleys.
Now, should you be allowed? I mean, should it be all right for you to walk down a dark alley with thousands of dollars bills hanging out there? Sure. In the perfect world, yes.
And unicorns and rainbows.
But if you get mugged going down that alley with thousands of dollars of bills hanging out your head, your pants, you're not going to get. You're going to get me like, okay, you know. But it turn, you know, trusting. That's all trust does.
Yeah.
Is it gives you an excuse to be a victim, because you can say, well, oh, I trusted that person.
Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't have.
The only time in a situation that it wouldn't be is when you are in organizations or places where trust is an intrinsic part of what you're doing. Like what I do, I have to trust the guys around me because we are going into situations whereby
when your life depends on it, and everybody in that organization or that group knows that your life depends on
right.
it. That's when it
matters.
When it's when it's your company, when it's your business, when it's a relationship.
Yeah.
Life is not at stake.
No.
Trust is, because if their life is not at stake, if they're not losing anything out of
their livelihood, their whatever.
Why would they trust? Why would you trust them? Why would they, you know, be loyal to you in that way?
I don't think I would.
So yeah, so just you know, understand that, you know, when you trust somebody, you're setting yourself up to be, because especially if you got that thing in the back of your head that's saying, I don't know about this, then you know, okay, listen. I'm going to trust you. Well, at that point, it's your fault.
Yeah.
Because you had that voice in your head saying, I don't know about this.
As old what's his name said, a terrible decision, really.
Yeah. You know, so that's one thing about, you know, that's a very important thing about trust.
Right.
Don't be the victim. You know, if I can teach anything in my classes and this, you know, don't be a victim, because you are not a victim.
Yeah.
You know, look at everything in your life and ask, did my decisions get me here? Odds are 99% of the time, yes.
That's what it is to be. That's what it is to live, and that's how it is. Yeah, you're right.
So next time your girlfriend, boyfriend asks you, don't you trust me? Nope.
Hi, I'm Brett Mauser, and I wrote the book on how to make a movie with no money. And here it is. Yeah, see, it's got pictures and everything. So head on over to our website, notsosane.com, and get your digital or paperback copy today.